Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and relationships, family communication, all through the lens of self-government. In this video, we're going to be talking about preparing your child for success, and we're going to see April and Davey Orgill's reaction to role-playing and how it has helped their family. Let's take a look. April and Davey Orgill are amazing parents. I love seeing them in action. I have multiple videos where I have had reactions to their videos where they're talking about the teachings that they have learned from me. And they were so fun to have at a training. They were part of a 3-day parenting mastery training, and they were just gobbling stuff up. In fact, if there is one thing about them, they love self-improvement. And if you know them, if you've looked at their channel, the April and Davey channel, you know they are like addicted to self-improvement. Like they want to become better versions of themselves. And so when they found teaching self-government years ago, it was life-changing for them. And then when they went to the 3-day parenting mastery training, they got this reboot. They were so energized, filled in a bunch of pieces that they didn't have before when they were going about the self-government parenting interactions in their home. And then afterward, we decided to take that group and do a follow-up training just to see how things were doing. And they all of a sudden had more light bulbs go off. And so in this video, we're going to see them talking about what they got from that after training and the difference that it makes to them to know and understand more about role-playing and how it plays into success for our children. So let's take a look at April and Davey talking about some of their takeaways and about role-playing.
The one thing we realized we could do better with our kids is we had forgotten to be practicing with them as much as we should. So we're going to be working on practicing the skills, especially when a correction happens. So like if the kids do anything that's not ideal and we go to a correction and we like tell them what they should have done. There's a whole card and like section in her book that's just about corrections, and it teaches you how to do corrections properly. And for every time you correct a child, you should be praising them 6 to 10 times. So it teaches you how to praise them throughout the process, like after you've corrected them, and practicing afterwards is huge on that praise because it gives you the opportunities to praise them like 6 to 7 more times, like 5 to 6 times even. Because every time they do it, you can say, that's good, you did that perfectly, you did such a good job at that, and like keep praising them.
Okay, so they're teaching you a lot of stuff really fast in this. They're some of their takeaways. So when they came to our little like review and see how everything was going night with their group that they went through the parenting mastery training with, which I don't do that all the time, but with this particular group, there were some great people that were there that were really close friends. Like, I don't know if you know Jordan and Bubba Page, and the Orgills, they're good friends with each other, and like, you know, Dainty Pear, and some of these people all together, they're good friends, and so they wanted to have a little recap. So we did this little recap, and we spent the majority of our time talking about correcting. So correcting is the thing that we do so much of, and we really want to nail it and make sure it's positive. And what you're seeing here is that one of April's big takeaways was, wait, correcting should be positive. It should be full of praise, and we recognize that we're not doing as much praising with our corrections as we would like to. And she's saying in one way that Nicholeen pointed out at this reboot training was that when we are doing our corrections, we should be doing practice times in the corrections, and we've just not been doing that. Now, probably the reason that the Orgills didn't do as much of the role play practices within their corrections is because actually they've been using teaching self-government for a long time, and then they came to the 3-day training. So they read my book years ago and started doing their training like that, and then they came to the 3-day training, filled in a whole bunch of pieces, and went, oh no, we've got to reset. So they reset, but because they'd been at it for so long, they probably just weren't in the habit of adding in those practices. So let me explain what those practices are, those role plays that are within a correction that she's talking about. Before I get to that correction, the steps to a correction, which I think will be really helpful for you, they certainly were for the Orgill family, I want to invite you to click that subscribe button. So there are so many great videos on this channel that will help you with correcting your children, improving your calmness, unifying the family, and just making better bonds overall. So click that subscribe now because you're not going to want to miss those other videos. All right, before we get back to the Orgills, we've got to talk about correction and what makes a really good correction. So when you correct someone, you describe what they did. And I usually start with the phrase just now so that I don't react emotionally to what happened. So I say, just now I gave you an instruction and you didn't keep a calm face, voice, and body. And then I say, when you do that, you are actually showing me that you're trying to disconnect from me and that we need more time to talk and practice our following instructions skill. So I describe why that wasn't a good thing, right? Or what the effect is from that behavior. And then I say, what you should have done was you should have looked at me and kept a calm face, voice, and body. Said okay, or asked to disagree appropriately, done the task immediately, and then checked back. Then I move to the next step. Since you chose not to follow instructions, then you have chosen to earn an extra chore, okay? Now they know a whole skill set called accepting a consequence. In fact, I have a whole book on it. So there are 4 children's books that teach the 4 basic skills. This one, Big Win for Quinn, teaches children how to accept consequences. And it is a 6-step process. So when they say okay and they do that process of accepting their consequence, I praise them. And then I say, all right, now let's do some practices so that we remember how to follow instructions. So this is the part where we role play. Maybe the same scenario that just happened and then 2 other scenarios. They're just practices. The children don't have to do real chores or anything like that. We're just practicing the 5 steps of following an instruction. And then every single time they say okay to the practice and then they do the practice and they check back from the practice, more praising every single time. Because what I told the Orgills is I said, a person has to have more experience doing something the right way than the wrong way in order to replace that wrong behavior with the right behavior. And they were like, oh, that makes sense, and we're missing that. So they started to put a focus on that behavior. So let's hear more about what they have had to say from their takeaways and role-playing and practicing the correct behaviors and how that has been beneficial to them.
Here's the thing, like, with being a good parent, there's no, like, one book you can read or one, tidbit of knowledge that you can get that you learned it, you're done, I'm a good parent for the rest of my life. Like it's a constant process of learning and tweaking and adjusting, and each time we like revisit, the things she teaches, we figure out, oh man, we have been slacking on that. So it's these constant refreshers. Like she has books that, really we should be reading it like once a year or sooner or more often, or, and she has a ton of content online, and I really encourage you guys to check it out. Like it's so good. Like it will change your whole family tree of, the way you get that heart of a teacher with your kids. It's not just the iron fist, or you're just letting your kids do whatever they want or walk all over you or ruling with fear. Like it's just, and every time we talk to her, she's such an inspirational lady. So many good things, and we find out those little things we're doing wrong, and then
we could do better, and like not necessarily like wrong, like oh you're the worst, just like oh well, how much better are they going to learn if you do the practices? Like that's merciful to them because they'll be able to memorize that better.
Well, that's really that's the same as life. Like you never get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't need to learn anything anymore. Like we should be constantly improving ourselves, working on things, and that goes with parenting too. There's no like I did it, I'm a good parent, I don't need to learn anything else or there's nothing I can do better. There's all, and it's not, and it's, you don't want to look at it as oh, I'm never good enough. No, that's the wrong way to look at it. Like, there's just always, that's just life. We can always do things a little bit better. And
oh, they go on. They have so many great things to share. But I love that she says that when you are practicing with your children, it shows mercy. It shows your children that you want them to learn it the right way. It's not about you finding a problem with them. And it's not, this whole thing that they're on, this journey of self-government, is not about them finding problems with themselves either. It's about them going, can I get better at that? Is there a way that I can improve a little bit? Could I work on my connection better? Could I explain that better? And so they are continually learning and growing so that they can be more successful. And they're teaching their children ahead of time. They're role-playing things the right way again and again as a merciful thing so that the children remember the steps and they can become more successful in the future. I love the heart of April and Davey Orgill. Honestly, they are just dear friends. I could just tear up, when I hear them talking about their transformation and their growth. It truly is powerful, and I love hearing that, and I hope that you have loved hearing that too. If you have enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you will like a free class that I am giving everyone. So on this channel, there is a class called The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success. You may not realize it, but sometimes we trap ourselves in our expectations and make our life harder. But what if we could identify where those traps happen and replace the traps with something that would make us successful? Well, that's what I would love to teach you in that free class. It's a class that I teach at conferences around the world. I hope that you enjoy it. Click on the link to The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success now.